Welcome to There's a Musical for That.
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 And if you like cellar dwellers
And trapdoor lovers.
there's a musical for that.
And if you like mermaids, crabs, and guppies, why? There's a musical for that.
If you like fan of the opera fan fiction, there's a musical for that.
If you like falling in love and broken hearts, and establishing your dreams and then having them dashed, and duels, there's a musical for that.
And it's called Wicked.
And it's called Little Mermaid Live.
It's called Hamilton.
And it's called Dogfight.
And it's called Phantom of the Opera 2, Love Never Died.
Welcome to There's a Musical for That. Welcome to There's a Musical for That, the podcast where we prove there's a musical for every situation. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Tiffany. And if you like musicals where the small town girl falls in love with the misunderstood rich bad boy and live happily ever after, there's a musical for that. And it's called Beauty and the Beast.
2017.
Yes, the new one that's currently out in theaters.
Woo! Not when this comes out, probably.
It might be. It
Maybe.
might be at a second run.
Maybe it might be at your local Redbox.
Yes, it came out March 17th, and we watched it March 18th.
We watched it timely. We're not going to put this out timely. Okay. Yay! Claps, claps, claps.
Yay.
Insert applause here. Mm-hmm. Can you, so Tiffany is a Beauty and the Beast super fan.
I don't know that
Regular
I'm a
fan?
super fan. I'm a regular fan.
Okay.
I'm a pretty big Disney princess fan, so I've definitely seen the animated Disney version many times. Grew up with it.
I saw it once when Tiffany made me watch it.
I feel like you wanted to
No, you
watch
said
it.
you've never seen this. We're watching it. And I said, okay.
Okay, fine.
I wasn't under duress, but I wouldn't have watched it if you didn't put it on.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, that was fine. I don't really remember much from it.
Did you like this movie?
I loved this one.
Okay. So you liked this one more than the animated version.
I don't have much to compare it to. I'm sure the animated one was fine, but I think I fell asleep at some point.
Yeah, it was. We did.
We watched it at nighttime at
like
a
we do
sleepover.
many of our things.
Well, this was different.
Yes.
So I know that song, that Gaston song, because I had my birthday party at McDonald's, my 6th birthday, and McDonald's, Old MacDonald. How do you sing the song? Old MacDonald?
But I feel, is that spelled differently? If we looked this up before.
Old MacDonald had a restaurant called McDonald's.
Spelled M-A-C.
The A is implied. Anywho, so I had my birthday party there, and if you've had your birthday party there back in the 90s, they had like a little throne that you sat on, and then you got to open the throne, and they had put like little gifts for you under the seat. And one of my gifts was a cassette tape with Disney songs on it, and that Gaston song was one of the songs on that tape. So I know that song by heart. All the other songs, I'm kind of like, I don't really know these. Gaston, I know that one. So that's my level of Beauty and the
I
Beastitude.
think Gaston is one of my brother's favorite Disney characters of like all time.
Is this your beautiful brother? Your scientifically proven beautiful brother?
Yes.
Okay.
He didn't scientifically prove himself.
Science proved it for him, apparently.
Yes, it was the other scientific brother proved that this other brother was scientifically beautiful.
The most beautiful. All right, so I guess that makes sense. Like he can see, like, this is what it's like to be beautiful. I understand you.
I think he just likes the level of ridiculous manliness there is to it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he just recognizes how silly he is.
Your brother doesn't listen to this podcast.
No.
Okay, good. Oops, let me rotate that. Okay. We immediately got off track. So will you tell the plot of
Beauty
something?
and the Beast? I'm sure everybody knows the general plot, but in case you don't, I shouldn't have said it like that. I'm sorry. If you don't, that's okay. But it's set in France. That's really not actually important to the story.
It's loosely set in
Yes.
France.
So Belle is a small town girl, and she just wants to do more with her life. She reads books, and she's a academic, I'll say.
Does
a
she?
bookworm.
Is she living in a lonely world?
She is. She's so lonely.
Did she take the midnight train going anywhere? Do you know what I'm quoting?
A song.
Just a small town girl.
Oh, Journey.
Living in a lonely world.
But yeah, she wants out of her town, and the town doesn't really like her because she stands
She's a
out.
weirdo.
She's different. And her dad makes things. He's a.
I think you're getting too granular. It's about a girl who's pretty and she meets a beast.
Just say it then?
Well, you said, I asked if you wanted to give an overview, and you're like, yeah, but I think everybody knows it, but I'll give a slight
Fine.
overview.
You're doing a better job. Continue.
It's a girl who's pretty, and she doesn't fit in with her town, and she meets this beastly guy who needs to learn that people are beautiful on the inside, and then they fall in love, and even though she was beautiful on the outside anyway. So, I mean, what did you really learn? She learned a lesson, but she didn't have to learn a lesson. She learned that he was beautiful, but she wasn't cursed.
I feel like towards the she was kind of, at least in this movie, a little, I don't know if pompous is the right word, but she definitely thought she was better than the town, which may or may not be true the way it was portrayed, but just the general.
Oh, I didn't get that. But I thought they were, I don't know, I thought they were acting kind of weird. I was like, what is... So there's this movie that a lot of people are not going to know about, but it's called Aladdin and the Adventure of All Time. It's this horribly animated movie, but it's kind of like this, and the main character is a girl named Paige who likes to read, and everybody doesn't like her just because she likes to read, and that's really it. She is normal in all other senses.
Paige.
And they sing this song like, that Paige, she reads these books. She's always reading books. And I'm like, this, I feel like I'm watching that. That's the only reason they don't like her is because she reads books.
And she was trying to teach another girl to read.
How dare she? And they threw her laundry on the ground.
Yeah.
She's going to have to wash that again.
That was unnecessary.
They're jerks.
Yeah, when Belle, in this live action version, was teaching another young girl how to read, the townsmen were like, no, another reading girl, just what this town needs. And they were angry, and she had this horse pull.
She invented the washing machine.
Yes. Yes.
Using a mule. She invented the washing machine.
Yes. So they threw her laundry on the ground and be like, there, now you won't
That'll
teach
show
any
her.
more girls how to read. A bunch of small-minded people. Because she was better than them. You act the way you want to, Belle.
I thought you said she was pompous.
I said pompous wasn't the right word,
Oh, okay.
but she was acting better than. Which after that, you know what? She was better than most of them.
She is better than them. Do you want to tell the people the differences between the movie and the animated 1990 whatever movie?
Sure, I think it may have been 89.
That was Little Mermaid Girl.
Well, when was... Well, as I'm
wanna
doing
ask Siri?
this... Yeah, ask Siri.
Siri doesn't work really well.
Anyway, well, you're looking that up.
I'm not sure I understand.
When did the animated Beauty and the Beast come out?
Which Beauty and the Beast?
1991, you idiot. It just gave me a list of them. 1991.
Okay.
Beauty and the Beast was released November 14th, 1991.
Wow, thanks.
All right. So there's just a few things I remember that are different. The one that comes to mind most readily is in the animated version when Belle went back to save her father at the end of the story. The reason she was able to get out is because Chip rode along with her and helped her escape, whereas Chip stayed back in the castle in this one, and her dad helped get her out, which I really liked how they portrayed Maurice in this a lot better than the animated version. In the animated version, he was more just he kind of was laughable, whereas he wasn't really laughable in this one. He was a solid character on his own. Felt that way with someone else, too.
Oh, spoilers, just FYI.
Oh.
He got out by picking the lock.
Yes, he did. Trying to remember. There were some other... Oh, they added things about their past. So, like, they didn't have things about Belle's pass, or the beast pass in the animated version, and I liked that, especially since in the very beginning I was kind of thinking, oh, well, Gaston and the beast are very similar, and the only difference is the beast had an opportunity to learn his lesson. In the animated version, that's kind of true, but in this one they give more of a backstory, and Gaston turns out to be just a poor crazy man.
He's a jerk.
Yeah.
The guy who played him did a really great job.
Oh,
Luke
and
Evans.
LeFou.
You liked?
I liked him better in the live action than the animated, because he seemed to, maybe I just didn't pick up on the fact that he was picking up that Gaston wasn't a good guy. In the animated version, I kind of just thought he was following Gaston around the whole time. And this one, throughout the movie, he was picking up on, oh man, this guy is
It's not
so good.
Yeah. Do you know who that guy was who was playing him?
No.
Josh Gad. He's from, listeners might know him from the Book of Mormon. He originated Elder Cunningham, but he did Olaf in Frozen.
Oh.
Also.
I liked him as an actor. I really liked how he played.
He tends to play like irritating and annoying type characters, and I think he does it well. Well, Elder Cunningham is very like irritating and annoying, but also lovable in the Book of Mormon, and I felt like Olaf was like that too, kind of like irritating but also lovable.
Okay.
Luke Evans was Gaston. I don't know what else he had been in. Do you know? I think he's a well-known person. Let's Google him.
The only people I know are Emma Watson, Emma Thompson. I forgot his name, but the older gentleman who played the clock.
Ian McKellen, Sir Ian
Yes.
McKellen, Gandalf.
Yes.
Gandalf the
and
White.
What's his face? The guy who played Lumiere.
Oh, yes, that was Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
What's Obi-Wan Kenobi? Is everyone's favorite
Is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
in the remakes? Yeah. Oh, apparently Luke Evans was in Rent and Miss Saigon. We walked past the Miss Saigon theater. Remember when we were in New York? He was in Three Musketeers too, which maybe that's where He was in The Hobbit. That's where I know him from. He was the Bard the Bowman in The Hobbit.
Which, the Beast, I must say, was fantastic.
He was great.
so good.
I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
I thought the actors were really good. Stanley Tucci was also in this as the piano, and he spit his keys out at one point to fight people, and at the end, I did like that they show he did not have any teeth left because he spit his teeth out at people. And Audra McDonald played his wife. Audra McDonald, noted Broadway
Are you gonna
person.
be too loud? You're going yellow a lot.
Hello, it's me. I am your family. Hello, is that how that song goes? I am your wife. Or she said, where is your wife? Did you notice that?
Yes.
Okay. Is this good?
I don't. You may have.
Tiffany,
overdone-
who
I don't know.
cares?
You're
It's
doing
like
great.
midnight in
You're
our
doing
time.
great.
It's like 2 a.m. our time.
Okay. It's not true. We're little old ladies, and it's not even 8 p.m. yet.
Yeah, it's 8 p.m. everyone else's time. It's 2 a.m. our time.
It's bedtime.
And I did like that as soon as you kind of see the townspeople, they did sprinkle in people who were not white people. I really enjoyed that.
Yes, that was.
I was like, see, it wasn't that hard now, was it? Just throw them in there as extras. Duh. Everybody else, get with it. I liked that part. What else was different? That's what we were talking about in the
Yes.
Scatterbrain podcast.
So they added in a couple extra songs, which are
The Beast song.
Yes, I really liked that.
I did too. He was like climbing up the stairs that the Belle goes to rescue her dad, and he's kind of singing like, I wish she loved me, but I'll always have her in my heart. Kind of.
Yeah, that's
basically the
gist
spirit of it.
Yeah. that's-
And he like is happy that he learned that
Yes.
to be a good person.
which he has such a good voice.
did.
Very, very
Who's that? Let me
Broadway.
look up him.
There's also Days in the Sun, which a lot of the cast members sang in that, and I think it was mostly them reflecting on what their life was or how they got to be at that point. I don't know. It was very touchy-feely.
Well, I remember Chip saying like or Chip saying, when will I be a boy again, or something, and his mom saying, well, you'll get to have your face in the sun again someday, and then later they sang that. So I thought it was based on that, because in where the castle is, it was all dark and snowy and dreary. That's what I thought, but I'm not quite sure.
That's the first original song they played.
Oh, see, I don't know where that was.
There was How Does a Moment Last Forever. That was really short. It was a very short song.
Was
It
that
good.
Belle's song? Cause she
No,
did a
that
short
was her
little-
dad singing when he was tinkering with that little
Oh,
thing.
that was cute. That music box or whatever he made.
Then, so we can just go on. Do you want to list off the songs but not necessarily talk about all of them?
That's fine.
I guess the first original song was when they were, I loved how they introduced it and like actually showed when he was cursed. Like,
The beginning part?
Yes.
Yeah, I personally wish, since they did have to, this movie was like over 2 hours long. It was like 2 hours and 10 minutes or something. Excuse
bless
me.
you.
Thank you. But I wish that they would have added time in more so to show how he was a bad person beforehand, or like why the other people who lived in the castle had to be cursed too. Because at first I was like, well, what did they, that's not fair to them. And then later Mrs. Potts said we were enablers to him and that's why it's our fault too. But I wish they would have shown a little bit more
Yeah.
of why he was such a bad person, maybe.
Well, yeah. So apparently his mother died at a young age, and then his dad, who was the king, was just a twisted, mean person and took the sweet little boy and just raised him to be
Cruel
a jerk.
and
Yeah.
just care about beauty. Yeah, I just kind of wish they would have shown him maybe, like it showed him at a ball with all these different women. I would have liked it. And there was no talking at the beginning part. It's like an over narration about how this happened. And it's just kind of showing it without the characters talking, I guess. But maybe if it would have showed him like only letting the beautiful women in and maybe kicking out the ugly girls, and maybe he would have kicked out the enchantress because she was just ugly, nothing of her own fault. And then she would have said, hey, I'm actually pretty.
I don't know. I liked how it was because he was just
Excuse me.
full of himself. He wasn't necessarily always a bad guy. He just wasn't paying attention, and he wasn't looking at other people to see them as people. He was just interested in amusing himself, which I think is the difference between him and Gaston. It's not like he was ever just well, no, that's not true. He was mean because when the enchantress came in and she was old, he stood around and made everybody laugh at her. But he didn't go out of his way. Like, she stumbled into, I'm saying but as if that is an excuse. It's not an excuse, but I said but again. He wasn't going out of his way to be mean to people, and he wasn't super malicious like Gaston is, which Gaston is way worse in this than he was in the animated. I guess he wasn't way worse.
It seemed more realistic, I guess. And in this one, to me, it seemed more realistic because he was more so saying, like, well, she's... And, of course, I don't have the knowledge of the other one, but him saying, like, she needs to be my wife because she's the only one who... She's hard to get. And she outright told him, I will never marry you. I liked that she explicitly outright said, no, I will never marry you. Did she say that before?
I feel like she did.
Oh, okay.
She was pretty clear.
I don't know. I thought his jerkiness was realistic because it's like when you're out somewhere and there's some guy who just will not take no for an answer. And you're just like, oh, God, no.
And he was just like, oh, I'm the prettiest and you're the prettiest, so obviously we need to be together.
The only kids you need to worry about are our kids. And she was like, not ready for that. And no.
He said your kids.
Yeah, but he gestured.
Yes.
He gestured to his crotch and her crotch. Like the fruits of our crotches. That's what you need to worry about. And she was like, oh, I don't think so. I really liked her clothes too, her costuming.
I liked all of them, except I didn't like how they they had the blue dress tucked up.
Because she had those bloomers underneath.
I didn't appreciate that.
I thought it was thought it was a mistake at first, but then I was like, oh, she's on that horse. So they just...
But then even when she was in the castle, she wasn't on
I think
the
it was
horse.
to show that
untuck
she's
your
like
dress, woman.
I thought it was to show that she's like a tomboy, and she's like,
I think
oh,
that's exactly
I can be rough
what it
and
was,
tumble.
and I didn't like it. I was like, untuck your dress.
I'm relatable.
Women, don't start tucking in your dresses to your waist. Don't relate to that.
Fashion police.
I loved the yellow dress, though.
Yeah, and
I
they
liked
put sparkles on it.
Yes, I liked how it flowed when she danced.
So the guy who played the Beast is called Dan Stevens, and apparently he's narrated over 30 audiobooks.
Ooh.
That makes a lot of sense. He has a very buttery voice, and I kind of liked him better as the Beast. But I guess I'm part of the problem. But the Beast, the CGI on the Beast wasn't as great as I feel like it should have been with the amount of money that Disney has. It looked very
great.
CGI. I think they should have mixed it with practical effects, so even his hair was like CGI, like when he was in the bathtub or whatever, and it just...
I did not pick up on that at all. I really liked it.
The mouth looked pretty good, because I'm sure they just painted his lips brown and then told him to talk with a bunch of crap on his face.
I saw a little thing on TV that I think he walked around like on stilts part of the time to
Yeah, I
get.
bet. Because she had to look up at their correct height and stuff. The, what are they called? The living things in the house? The people, the
enchanted
servants?
people. Yeah.
Yeah, I could not tell who people were by their voices, and I was so shocked when they turned back into people. And even Ewan McGregor, he was Lumiere. I could not tell that was him until the credits.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that is him.
I knew that was him.
I missed it. I was hoping it would be Patrick Stewart because Cogsworth was Ian McKellen and him and Patrick Stewart are best friends. I was just hoping, and I think I didn't see it, so I was like, oh, whatever. Also, let's talk about this gay scandal, apparently. Did you hear about this?
No.
So people were toting this movie as like the first movie to have a out gay character. And I just thought it was going to be LeFou just because that's what people were saying. And I was like, oh, well, he must be in love with Gaston, and that's the undertone. So I was like looking for it. I was like keeping my eye out. Even when I got back, Robbie was like, so how was the gay scene? And I was like, there wasn't any gay scene. There wasn't an out and out gay scene. There was a guy, Audra McDonald, as the chifforobe or whatever that's called, wardrobe, threw clothes on 3 guys in the fight scene, and one guy liked being in women's clothing.
He was just so genuinely
He was just like,
happy.
oh,
He was like,
yay.
"Hey."
I'm a pretty lady.
He just smiled and he turned around.
So
and
then I
walked
thought maybe
downstairs.
that was it, but then at the very end when they were all dancing, LeFou and that guy danced together for literally 3 seconds. And I was like, well, is that the big gay scene? And the movie was over, and I was like, well, I missed it.
There were there was no big gay scene. There were some. I definitely picked up on LeFou was supposed to have a thing for Gaston.
But then he kept explicitly talking about the women. Like, Gaston was like, why hasn't a woman picked you up yet? And I thought maybe he was going to evade the question, but he was like, well, they say I'm a bit clingy. I don't know where they get that from, essentially is what he said.
Maybe clingy to Gaston.
I don't think so.
He was sitting on his armchair.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Yeah. Like, maybe I'm a bit clingy, like...
No, I think it was clingy in general.
Okay.
That's what I took it as.
Oh.
Because I thought they would, like, dodge around the women question, and then I'd be like, okay, it's him. But I did not get anything over... I was looking, and I didn't catch anything.
I wasn't looking because I didn't know there was a gay scandal, and I definitely thought throughout the movie that, oh, he seems gay for sure. When he was singing, like, the Gaston song, when he started it off, and he went up on the bar, and, like, how the guys were initially looking at LeFou, and he's like, no, look at Gaston, because one of them, I thought was...
No. I didn't pick that up at all.
It wasn't
thought
super
there's-
obvious.
there's nothing
though.
overt
Yes,
at
there's no
all.
Scandal. Uh-oh. Motorcycle.
We live in Mad Max land.
Whee!
Mad Max is not a we. But
That is if you're tough.
I'm tough. I'm tough. I only got one arm. That was Furiosa. She only had one arm. Did you see Mad Max Fury Road?
No.
Oh, Charlize Theron is Furiosa, and she only has one arm, and she's badass.
She likes to play
One-armed people?
hardcore people.
I heard she's crazy in real life.
She's not my favorite.
She's dating Sean Penn, and he's crazy in real life.
I don't know anything about them in real life.
Anywho. But I did think that LeFou? Yeah, because they're trying to be like the fool. Like LeFool. The Foo. Mr. T. I pity the Foo.
I picked up on it.
Okay. I thought he more so admired Gaston because they showed a couple scenes of like Gaston looking at himself in a mirror, and then he'd like walk away, and then LeFou would get in the mirror and try to like imitate kind of what he was doing.
He got very different impressions of LeFou.
Oh.
I did not think he was trying to imitate him. I just thought he had some sort of affection for him. Maybe they met during the war and he liked him.
Saved his life or
Yeah, or I don't. I did build a little bit of a backstory.
Oh,
of
I
like,
see.
Oh, maybe
I see.
maybe Gaston had a hard time and LeFou saw it, and that's why he stuck with him for as long as he did.
I didn't think it was that
fucking
deep.
Crazy.
I really thought
It wasn't that deep. I put that in there.
somebody could have really thought about that, but my interpretation was that he saw that Gaston was this guy who all these ladies liked, and he's like, oh, I want to be a guy that all these ladies like, so I'm going to cling to this guy and follow him around and be his number one, and then copy stuff that he does, and then maybe the girls will like me.
I don't know. Listeners, when you watch it, see if you get the same impression. I did not get that impression. I got the impression he was gay very early on.
Is that because you believe men can't be affectionate towards one another?
No?
Okay. I tried to bait you, it didn't work. Yeah, you guys, if you have a differing opinion or you want to comment on our opinions, I keep forgetting to mention that we have like an email address and a Facebook and a Twitter that you can talk to us. Tweet. Yeah. It's TAMFT podcast at gmail.com and then at TAMFT.
Musical for that.
TAMFT podcast on all those social media things. We have a Tumblr too, but I kind of hate Tumblr, but you can follow us on it if you'd like. Give us your opinions on what you think was going on there.
So what was your favorite song?
I don't have an answer right now.
What's your least favorite part of the movie? Not even song. Do you want to see the track list?
I'm trying to think, because I did really enjoy it. I'm trying to think of the parts that I did not like. You know what I didn't like? And I got a bone to pick with. Angela Lansbury is still alive. Why can't she be Mrs. Potts? And at first I thought maybe it's because they felt like she was too old to have a little kid. But what's her face? Emma Thompson is not a spring chicken either.
How old is Angela Lansbury?
She's very old.
Yes.
She's very old.
Yes.
She could have been his grandmother. I just think it's rude.
Maybe she didn't want to.
I don't believe it.
Okay. She was in Judy Garland's time.
She's the same age as Elvis, around about. Did you know that?
That
Elvis
is
still-
older than Emma Thompson.
Yeah, but Emma Thompson isn't old enough to have a 5-year-old either, I thought. But I don't know how old she is. Hey, Emma, listen. I'm just saying. She's alive. I hope you got her. I hope she gave you her blessing to play her part. That's all I'm saying. Because in
I
that,
thought she did a good job.
I'm not saying she did a bad job. I was just like, well, she's still alive. Come on. Because that live action Lion King they're doing, they did announce that they are going to have James Earl Jones to be Mufasa. And everybody was like, duh. Yeah.
When is that coming out?
I don't know. But they just announced that James Earl Jones will be Mufasa, and everybody said, you are right. Duh.
Yes.
So that was my least favorite part, but it wasn't bad because I did not dislike her. And I'm curious about Chip's saucer. I guess that wasn't a part of his body, but how does that work? I need some questions answered about his skateboarding.
It was an enchanted castle.
I know, and then the feather duster was flying.
It was an enchanted castle.
If it was a cartoon, I would have been like, cartoon.
Enchanted.
I hear what you're saying, but there's rules to life.
Uh-huh. Yep. There are rules.
Can you guys hear the sound I'm making?
She's chopping her hand to prove her point.
Yes. What was your favorite and least favorite? Let's just do favorite. Oh, you could do least favorite. Do whatever you want.
I'm going to start with, there were a lot of really good moments, but I still think something there.
Maybe something there that wasn't there before.
Yes, I thought it was cute. The Beast and Emma were cute to Emma, the Belle.
Yeah, I was like, wait, which two?
They were cute together.
I was about to say British Emma, but they're both British.
It's a sweet moment. I also did like the Beast solo. Whatever that.
What was it called?
How does the moment last forever?
I don't know.
Nope.
It's called I'm a Beast, I'm a
Actually,
Beast.
I think it was.
See my feet.
Evermore.
Evermore.
Nicely done. liked his voice. It was really good.
It's very buttery. Let me see what audiobooks he is the orator. Orator is a speaker. I'm not saying it properly, but that is a good word. Use it on your ACT, kids. SAT.
Trying to think of my least favorite.
Listen, we don't have to be negative if you don't want to be. We don't have to do it.
I remember there were a couple moments where I just wasn't a huge fan of, but they were more like small things.
You literally threw your hands up at one point.
Would you remember when that was?
I feel like Maurice did something. It was something to do with the horse in the wagon.
Oh!
And you literally threw your hands up, and I was like, well, excuse me.
So the horse was just supposed to be a horse, and
Apparently it's a magical creature.
Yeah, it's a horse. So when Maurice, at the very beginning, when he was taking his carriage to the market to sell his things, and he gets lost, and it tips over because the wolves are after him, and he's stuck, and he's dangling off of this one place, and wolves are below him, and a wolf is right above him, and he was like, oh, Philippe, and, at this point you think, oh, the horse must have run off.
As horses do.
Yes,
They're
and
horse.
then he drops, and the horse runs
Magically.
underneath him, and he lands on the horse and rides forward. And I was just like, really?
I did leave him again later, and I was like, yes, Philippe, you save yourself. You run.
I was like, that was... You've seen it before in movies where someone drops and they're the horses to catch them. I wasn't expecting it in that moment. And I was like, no, not necessary.
If it had turned out at the end that the Enchantress had been posing as their horse that whole time, I would have been like, that makes sense.
Oh.
But she was just a widow, spinster, whatever, who was wearing a rag on her head.
That'd have been funny.
Yeah, I would have been like, that's why that horse was so smart. Because Belle, when the horse goes back to after he leaves the dad, the horse is like, all right, see you later.
Yeah.
And goes back home, and Belle's like, take me to father. She's like grabbing the horse's face, like, hey, look at me in the eyes when I'm talking to you. She's like, take me to Papa. And the horse does take her back. I'm like, this horse is magic. And it was pretty colored.
Yeah, it was a very
It was like
pretty horse.
marbled.
I liked it.
So I had come up with a favorite part, and now I think, oh no, I really liked their relationship building, because it seemed very realistic to me that she would like him.
Yes.
That when he hit her in the face with that snowball, that was really disturbing, because she throws a snowball at him and it breaks, and he's like, oh, haha, they're laughing, and then he throws a really big snowball at her and it hits her in the face, and it shows her like leg. It hits her and she like lays flat on her back. And then the scene just changes, and I'm like, is she dead? Like, you couldn't show her, like, giggling, but it was like she got a pumpkin to the face. It's like, she's dead. The rest of this is a dream. She died. That's what I thought. But I liked their relationship building. I don't think I really have a least favorite, except for the part of I need to understand their biology. And this is why I don't like Cars, the movies, either. No, my least favorite part was, I know what it was. Before the movie, they were about to show a preview. Or they did show a preview for the new Disney Pixar movie. And then after that, or before the preview, whatever, it said, from the makers of Finding Nemo, Toy Story, some other Disney movie. And I'm like, if you would have just put Disney Pixar, we know who you are. Don't tell us that you made those movies. We know. That was my least favorite part.
Oh, okay. I also liked how there were a lot of like the smaller similarities between the animated version and the live action, of just little things, of some of the same dialogue and movements and way of dressing. It was just costume. That's a more official word for it.
I bet they'll win an Oscar for costume design, because those costumes were nice. Her shawl she had on, I really wanted to buy that brown shawl, but it had like the floral detail on the inside. I liked that shawl.
It was okay. I liked her costumes much more after that first outfit was gone. I liked all the other ones.
Oh, hey, tell the people how you feel about Belle's Winter, what is that movie called? Belle's Enchanted Winter. See, I know a lot more about that than I do about the actual movie.
I don't like it.
It's bad, right?
Yeah.
That's why there's an evil cabinet or something in there. There's an evil like organ. It's something.
There's an organ and there's a giant stove and
They're evil and hanging out somewhere.
I don't know. Are they evil? I can't even remember.
I'm pretty
now.
sure they're evil.
It's like any other Disney second version.
I
of
really like
something.
Little Mermaid too.
Yeah, they did better on that. I didn't. Yeah. Well,
But I
I
was-
could talk about the second versions for a while. There are some I don't mind.
We'll do a
but-
mini episode about it. But I was wondering if they put anything from that in the movie, like during the winter thing. So like, we got to pad this out. We got this whole other movie.
Not that I can remember.
Okay.
Um.
Do you want to read it? Oh, no, one last question.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Does anybody know how long was this movie taking place over from the time he was cursed until the last rose petal fell? Because I was trying to figure out how long is it between each rose petal, because when she first got there were 6 and then 2 fell because they said now there's only 4 left. How long was this happening? And especially since all the townspeople forgot the people who were in the castle also, and that was some of their relatives.
I'm gonna go with like maybe 5 years.
Oh, Lord. I was hoping it was no more than a year, especially since Chip is a child.
It would have had to have been more than right? I think it was more than a year.
How does Chip define his age now?
Magically.
Okay, I'll leave it alone.
Okay.
Okay, now we can rate it.
What are we rating it out of?
Fallen rose petals.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I thought it was kind of sad.
Or just roses. Rose petals. Okay, rose petals. I'm not gonna call it a fallen rose petal.
How does the rose know that she loves him unless she says it out loud? Because you
The
feel it.
enchantress was standing right there.
I know, but I thought it was because they were like, oh, well, he loves her now. She has to love him, but he didn't outright say it.
Mrs. Potts did.
Okay, fair enough.
And in the animated version, so that was another difference. In the animated version, you don't know, like, you have no indication of how long it was, because it wasn't like, oh, the townspeople suddenly know the people in the castle. Like, there was no reconnection. It was just
A little
separate.
community.
Yeah.
Because all of their friends and family could have died by then.
right.
You don't know.
It's unfortunate. So I'm gonna give it. I will give it 3.8 rose petals out of 5. Yes. Emma Watson did a really great job, but she would not have been my first pick for a musical. So that knocks it down a bit. Still, again, great job. There were those couple scenes where I was just like, what are you doing? That's silly. And I just kind of... But I went into it pretty critical because it's a Disney musical. And this is a big part of my life and I love them. So I was very keen to pick up on things that I wouldn't like. And then that blue dress that was tucked up on her hip for half an hour to an hour of the movie.
I liked it. But if you could cast someone else as Belle, who would you have picked?
See, I don't know. Someone with a stronger voice.
Yeah. I would agree that her singing wasn't top notch, especially with other Broadway people in it singing. Audra McDonald, of course, is a very good singer. Not that she sang all that much, but I thought she was a good choice. I liked her. I liked it. I'll give it 4.9.
Ooh.
I really liked
Whoa.
it. I really enjoyed it.
Glad.
I was having a good time. You know, I'm going to take points off for those kids who were laughing. But I added a point because that little girl at that one point when they started singing something there that wasn't there before. Did you see that girl who was sitting in front of you who had her feet up on the seat and they start singing that? She put her feet down and she like got in her sister's face and started singing the song. And
see that.
she was like probably 8 years old, but that added points because I was like, this is great because that little girl was into that song. She knew all the words.
Aw. No. Yeah, I was also taking points off. The kids who were laughing behind us
I glared at them several times.
ruined part of the experience. And also the girl who was more sitting in front of you kept recording it.
Oh,
She kept pulling out her phone, and I was seeing the
Snapchat.
light on her phone, and it was like at one point I just started watching her phone. I was like, what? She recorded like the first 5 minutes, and I was like, are you going to record the whole thing? Because I know people have done that before, and I was not pleased.
In those ads, it's always the person with their hood up, which is me, but it wasn't me recording. I'll show them. She'd probably put it on Snapchat or something to be like, look at me, this is where I am. Whereas I tastefully took a picture of the standee in the lobby and said, I'm seeing this movie right now. Snapchat etiquette, everyone. Okay. Do you have any?
Are we missing anything?
Do you have any extra thoughts? I'm sure we're missing lots of things that I'll think of later.
No, I'll probably buy it just because it's a Disney princess movie and a musical.
I'll buy it because I really liked it.
Well, that too. I mean, so
Maybe, but I don't really like buying movies.
No, I'll buy it.
So I'll watch them on the internet.
I like to own them and add them to my collection of things that sit on a shelf that I'll watch once every 5 years. Maybe.
I think that's fair. I just feel like I could be buying like these giant cardboard things that I bought.
Yeah.
I got some trifold folders. That's cool.
Use all of my tax return money to
To buy trifold folders?
buy this movie.
Okay. I'm here now. All right. Again, you can talk back to us on the internet if you email us at tamftpodcast@gmail.com. You can talk to us on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. Is there anything else? We do not have an Instagram, but at TAMFT Podcast. Talk to us.
Or just, walk up to us at work because that's where some of you are. Give Kayla a call. You have her number.
What? Why do they have my number?
Whitney doesn't have your number? You don't know her like
Whitney's
that?
not going to walk up to us at work.
You said number. Why do they have my number? And I was thinking of some of the listeners, your sisters.
Oh, okay. You were saying other people should. I thought this is where the Oxford comma trauma comes back into play.
There was an Oxford comma in there.
No, it was ambiguous. I thought you were saying come up to us at work or call Kayla. And I was like, why do people at work have my phone number?
They have my number.
Are you giving?
But please
That's
don't call
different.
me about this. You have my number for HR emergencies. Don't call me about this. I love you.
I'll move away from the mic. I'm being uncharacteristically loud.
You are. I will say that my rating of this might shift. Into the Woods, my rating of that
Into
shifted.
the woods, it's time to go.
Because originally I would have given it a 1 because I was pissed.
Oh, you were shocked.
I was mad. And now I kind of like it. So this was my initial, as critical as it's going to be rating. And it'll only probably grow on me. Because it was well done.
Into the woods, and into the woods, out of the woods, and home before dark.
Whee!
I still haven't seen the end of that.
Oh.
When I went to the theater, it cut out at the end. That's the theater I used to work at. It's high
Didn't
quality.
we watch it and rate it?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm 100% sure we did not watch Into the Woods.
Oh.
We
Should
planned on it.
Okay.
Yeah. We planned on it several times.
We might still do that one day.
But I went to Target to get
If you want to hear us talk about Into the Woods, let us know.
I went to Target to get the PBS stage version, and it was $30 or something. And I was like, this is 20 years old, and there's going to be no special features on this, and it's not Blu-ray. How dare you? But that was right after the movie had come out, and so they hiked it up. Whatever.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. That's all, folks. That's all, folks. Goodbye. I'm getting my sexy voice back. Goodbye. Harmonize with me.
I don't know how to harmonize.
Me neither. I just thought you would figure it out.
Goodbye.
Bye. With that harmony. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Okay, bye.
There's something sweet and almost kind, but he was mean and he was coarse and unrefined, and now he's dear and so unsure. I wonder why I didn't see it there before.